Alright, now that we have talked about the theories of lift production, we briefly mentioned what is an airfoil. Let's take a look at an airfoil in a little more detail. More about airfoil. If you look at the airfoil, the diagram should be somewhere here as well. If you look at the airfoil, there are certain parts marked over here. The first thing is the leading edge, which is the front portion of the airfoil. The trailing edge is the last end of the airfoil. Then you look at something called the chord line. The chord line is an imaginary line drawn from the leading edge to the trailing edge. It is the line joining the leading and the trailing edges. Then you also see something called a mean camber line. Now this camber line shows us an average curvature of the airfoil. How is the airfoil curving? What kind of curvature does the airfoil exhibit? That is exactly what the camber line shows. It shows the average curvature of the airfoil. If you can see in the diagram, there is the camber of the upper surface and the camber of the lower surface. And the mean camber line is kind of an average between both of them. The next thing that we want to know is what is relative wind and flight path. Relative wind is the wind directly opposite to the flight path. It does not mean where the airplane is pointing towards. It means where the airplane is flying. Let me give you an example. So, sometimes you can descend with your nose almost to the horizon. At this point, your descent angle might be 3 degrees, but your nose is not pointing 3 degrees downwards. Your flight path is that 3-degree descent path. Your relative wind is the wind that is opposing that 3-degree descent path. It is not where your nose is pointing. Now that you know what relative wind is, angle of attack is easier to understand. Angle of attack is the angle between the chord line and the relative wind. Angle of attack is the angle between the chord line and the relative wind. These are some of the very important things, and most of these terms will be used again and again throughout our discussion of aerodynamics. So please keep these in mind.